Hi, I'm Candace.
And I'm Ripley.
And this is Comicsplaining.
The show where if you give me Obi-Wan spoilers, I will fucking kill you. Yeah, this is the first time I've been excited about a show and, like, up to date on something in forever, I think.
I mean...
Not forever. I did binge watch Jessica Jones Season 2, and then I was burned out on ever watching a show again.
Yeah. Because it was...
Very disappointing.
Yeah, not good.
Jessica Jones Season 1 meant a lot to me, and Jessica Jones Season 2 was entirely underwhelming. But anyway, I'm very excited about Obi-Wan, and we're about to start watching it after we record, featuring our guest stars, the neighborhood fucking children. Suddenly. They were an unscheduled guest star, but hey. No, I'm really excited about Obi-Wan because Ewan McGregor was one of the best parts of the prequels. We rewatched them all in a binge last night because the beginning of Obi-Wan had a last time on Star Wars feel about it, where it went through everything that's happened with Obi-Wan since the beginning of the prequels, and I was like, well shit, what if I'm missing things? Despite having watched all these movies like 20 fucking times, I'm like, what if I'm missing the nuance of Ewan McGregor's performance? So we went back and started, and then I mean, I never liked Jar Jar. I never realized exactly how much he makes every scene worse until you pointed it out, and then I'm like, fuck.
From my perspective, I came home from the grocery store, and we put away groceries, and then I sat down, and I watched all three of the prequels at gunpoint.
Yeah, against your will. But at this point, you might as well watch Obi-Wan with me. So that's what's going on over here. It's about to be Obi-Wan time once we finish recording. But before we can get to that, we've got a podcast to put out.
Yeah, we did commit to that. We did make that decision in our lives.
We did. And because of that decision, we're going to be continuing our adventures with the Beast again this episode, starting off with Amazing Adventures 14 from June of 1972. Written by Steve Englehart, penciled by Tom Sutton, inked by a new name for us, Jim Mooney. So Jim is really well known for his work over at DC. He had a very long run penciling Supergirl for like over 10 years. Though he's actually worked on both Spider-Man and Thor titles, so we've both experienced his work, even if we haven't shared it. And like many people, Jim also has a Stan story.
Oh boy.
I met Stan the first time when I was looking for work at Timely. I came in being somewhat young and cocky at the time, and Stan asked me what I did. I said I penciled. He said, what else? I said I inked. He said, what else? I said, color. Do you do anything else? I said, yeah, I letter too. He said, do you print the damn books, too? I guess he was about 2 or 3 years my junior at that point. I think I was about 21 or 22, so we've got cryptid Stan Lee in his formative teenage years. Still a delight.
Amazing.
And we finish off with John Costanza on letters. A brief content warning on this issue for suicide. We'll get there when we get there. Probably skip 20 minutes out if you don't think you're up to that.
Man, I guess back in those days, you could just, after high school, you could just be 19 and just become the head of a comic book company, huh? That's wild.
I don't think he was a head at the time, but, like, clearly
Yeah.
He was there. I love it.
It's wild.
So what happened last episode with the Beast?
Well, we, and I mean we, we as in the Beast, we had a new job, at some lab or something, despite having never gone to college, but I guess it's fine. And we left the X-Men to go to our new job, and
Your name is Hank McCoy.
No! A young man stands in his room.
He has a job to go to tomorrow.
Though he is 20-something years old. Today's the first day. Anyway, we left the X-Men and went to our new job. There was, Mad Dick, he was shitty. And there was Linda, who we started dating. But actually she was some kind of secret agent
That's true.
That we haven't figured out yet. I mean, we, as in Hank McCoy, doesn't know anything about that, but we, the readers, know that Linda is a secret agent.
Thanks for all the second person, Jerry.
So, things were going okay until Mad Dick decided to have someone break into our lab and steal stuff, I guess?
Yeah, I think that was maybe what was happening. I don't know. He was breaking into the lab, we know that much.
But little did he know that we had earlier unlocked the chemical secret to mutation. So, our completely untested potion, we just decided to fucking Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde ourselves into this giant gray hairy guy to go fight off the intruder. Because I guess we couldn't just call the cops.
Or stay late at work and deck him.
Right. Or like, I'm sure they have security at this place.
We know that full well.
There's so many things you could have done other than this. But we decided to drink this thing and turn into a hairy guy. And went and fought the man. But it took too long, and after an hour, it became permanent.
That's true.
And then we went and made a photorealistic mask of our own face without any kind of mold or cast at all. Just from memory.
We have amazing hand-eye coordination.
And went back to work. And then Tony Stark was there. Being himself.
Yep.
And his girlfriend, who is psychic, was there. And she was like, Linda is rancid vibes. And so we got mad at them and left. But then later that night, we were fucking around with our monkey man abilities. And Iron Man showed up, and then we fought him because why not, I guess. And we killed him, and then we ran off into the forest, and then we had amnesia somehow.
Never explained.
We met the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, and they took us to a circus, and then they had us help them steal a diamond. And then after we got back to the circus from stealing the diamond, we remembered everything suddenly. For no reason. And attacked them and got squeezed in between Unis and the Blob a couple times. And defeated all of them and Mastermind and then left.
Yep.
So that's what happened.
Mastermind's mind broke again.
Yeah.
This just kind of happens with him. But you just about hit it all that I can think of. Oh, no. We missed Patsy and Buzz. Buzz is, he works for the government. He seems to be like a military liaison to the company that we work at, Brand. Oh god, I'm stuck doing it now too. And the government was not happy about all this beast business, so they sent Buzz and his wife Patsy up to Brand to sort it all out.
No, Brand is kind of a familiar name to me.
Yeah, it's been around.
Is it related to Abigail Brand?
I don't think so.
No, just a coincidence.
I'm not 100% sure. There are some appearances of Abigail I haven't read, but I don't think it is.
Okay, whatever.
It would be a really weird coincidence, considering that Beast later ends up, like, dating her for a while.
Right.
Anyway, let's, get to it. So, let's see. We open on the Beast, shockingly pissed off about something and declaring that someone can't escape.
Yeah, he's really pissy for some reason.
He really is. And he declares someone can't escape, though we don't know who just how. And Beast is diving through some sort of projectiles that are being shot at him. I'm not sure if they're like rockets or bullets with fins. Baffled. We find out that the person in question is Iron Man, back in the Beast's crosshairs again.
I guess he knows he didn't kill him now.
Yep, that's actually why he's here. He wants to talk, and Tony's like, this really isn't a great time, because those projectiles that are going on are missiles that are being fired at him to test out his armor.
Wow.
And Beast apparently doesn't think that's any good reason not to talk things out, and he demands that they talk about this now. Like, what, are you fucking married? He explains that he still thought Iron Man dead after their fight, but then he heard that Iron Man was going to be here, so what gives? The conversation is shockingly interrupted by a missile flying right between them, which then explodes. It's almost like Tony said people were shooting missiles at him. Luckily, it seems that Tony's anti-missile modifications had paid off, but he's more impressed by the Beast, whose physical prowess let him get free of the blast before it was too late, and he continues to effortlessly dance between the continuing missiles. Finally, the onslaught stops. Beast makes some kind of reference to soft soap, which is a reference lost to time to me. I was born in 1991, whatever he's trying to fucking say.
There is a brand of hand soap called soft soap.
Indeed, and that's where I went, but I still don't understand what it means. Like, soft soap is not required, Iron Man. We were enemies before. And though they've turned off the missiles, times don't seem to have changed. If anyone actually knows what he's talking about, please email us over at comicsplaining@gmail.com. But anyway, yeah, the missiles have stopped, but either cops or guards rush at the men.
Right.
Guns drawn.
Of course.
Tony tries to ward them off, but before he gets a chance, the cop guards open fire on Beast in defense of Iron Man. Luckily, even though one of them hits, the Beast's healing factor kicks in, allowing him to shrug off the wound. And he finally gets his chance to talk to Iron Man. Tony explains what happened in the fight from his perspective, and Beast at least appreciates that Stark called him a man on multiple occasions, declaring him a friend before he bounds off over the perimeter fence. It's then revealed that the cop guard is in fact just a guard, and not for much longer. Once the Beast leaves, Tony immediately grabs the gun of the Stark Industries security guard who shot the Beast, crushing it and declaring that the company won't employ someone who's willing to shoot first without trying other non-violent solutions beforehand.
Tony's a solid guy sometimes.
Yep, I'm mostly just gonna leave that one there as Stark Industries leaves this guard Higgins in the dust.
Yep.
And we're following Hank back to his apartment. He's finally figured out what happened with Mastermind, but he continues to be troubled over Tony's fiancé's declaration that Linda, Hank's girl, had bad vibes. But eventually he dismisses it as he's able to finally relax for just a minute. Except no, because no sooner does McCoy take a load off his feet than the door buzzer starts ringing, because that's how it goes. He answers, only to find that, speak of the devil, it's Linda, and she wants to come up. He buzzes her in and then frantically begins putting together a disguise. He's got his mask, but that's about it. The rest of it's at work. Still, after bundling himself up completely, he's as covered as he's going to be. And just in time, as Linda reaches his apartment and opens the door. She's relieved to see Hank alive, after Captain Baxter and Patsy's welfare check didn't come bearing good news. But he's here, and he's fine. Well, no, he's not fine. He has a terrible cold, and so, well, you see, Linda, you're just going to have to leave. I'm simply too contagious. And with that, he ushers an off-put Linda back out of his apartment.
Incredible. He's so good at this.
He's so good at this. Hank then throws a temper tantrum, smashing up his apartment and tearing his mask to shreds, furious over having had to snap at Linda like that because he didn't have his disguise. You could have just said, I'm under the weather. Don't come in. But okay. Meanwhile, down below, our mystery woman from last issue slips in the door behind the departing Linda, worried about her own safety should Hank not answer the door. Which he doesn't, having already leapt back out the window. Rip to this lady, I guess.
Fucked up.
I didn't mention it earlier, but I did actually want to note that the Bounding Beast is actually starting to look a little more blue. He's still kind of a gray blue, but we're getting there.
Yeah, it's definitely a little bit different.
Yeah. Anyway, he's rushing off to recover his disguise from work, expecting to come and go as easily as he has been, but he soon realizes that's not going to be the case. As soon as he clears the wall, soldiers set upon him, opening fire. They don't have any trigger discipline, as they damn near hit Patsy and Buzz on a midnight stroll as Beast bounces right by him. I'm not actually sure that the boom might actually just be Beast jumping or a bullet hitting the pavement. I'm not sure which way it is, but whatever the case, Captain Buzz immediately orders the men to shoot to wound, not to kill. The soldiers don't have the opportunity to do either of these things, though, as the Beast leaps through a window into the lab complex where he works. The army men move to secure the building at Captain Baxter's order, which I'm not actually sure Buzz can really give, because isn't he in the Air Force? I don't actually know all that much about how the military works, if, like, an Air Force officer can be like, hey, army guys, shoot that guy, but not bad.
I mean, I think it depends on, like, his rank, right?
Yeah, I tried to look into it, but all the answers I got were really wishy-washy. Like, a cursory search seemed to say, maybe he can, under certain circumstances, asterisk, asterisk, asterisk.
Right.
So, that's about the best I can do. Again, shoot us an email if you know, and we'll put the right information out there. So the soldiers, they move to secure the building, but they see no sign of the Beast. Patsy briefly marvels over the whole event, and Buzz urges her to go home, as this is man's work, because of course. Buzz is fucking annoying. The Baxters, though, are interrupted by someone they've been searching high and low for. One Henry McCoy, acting like this is all cool, and he just happened to wander by. Buzz is absolutely flabbergasted by how he could just be wandering by.
Right.
And Hank continues to get snippy about, well, hey, who the hell are you to ask me? Maybe he hasn't noticed that from the first issue here, there have been soldiers on site here at Brand, and, hey buddy, I think your company's a military contractor. I'm really wondering how you missed that.
Yeah, good question.
The captain, too, though, doesn't exactly de-escalate, expressing his frustration over having had to look high and low for him. Adding to the confusion, Linda, too, has arrived back at Brand, and is completely baffled by Hank's presence, as wasn't he sick and also at home? Hank continues to be shifty, as he explains that as soon as Linda left, he headed straight here because he heard how people had been looking for him. Buzz doesn't want to drop the situation, but Patsy, who did not leave Buzz to his man's work, reminds her husband that McCoy is sick, get off his ass. Buzz also doesn't listen to his wife, demanding to know where Hank has been.
This is ridiculous.
So much.
There's just so much happening right now.
This is a whole ass soap opera. Hank, in a panic, lies that he's been with Linda, assuming she'll back him up, which she immediately calls him out on. This whole thing only riles Buzz Baxter up more. He is about to drag Hank off for an interrogation when one of the soldiers comes rushing to inform Baxter that the Beast has been spotted on the other side of the compound. A crabby Buzz hesitantly rushes off with the soldier, making it clear that, as far as he goes, this isn't over, and they're going to talk about it tomorrow. Hank momentarily ponders over this before remembering...
He's gone extremely wall-eyed.
He has very much.
His face is not good. Also, I like how his glasses are green tinted in this issue.
They weren't until he put on the mask, so I have to feel like maybe the eyes aren't super convincing on the mask and he's wearing tinted glasses to try and throw them off, but, like, it doesn't change the fact that his eyes have drooped sideways.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's momentarily pondering over this before remembering that he is sullen and also miffed at his girlfriend for not backing him up. She apologizes, explaining that she can't just lie to an Air Force officer because she loves her country. We find in a thought bubble that her country is not America, but she sure does love the place wherever it is.
Oh boy.
This does nothing to make Hank less sulky, but Linda does continue trying to butter him up, cooing over how she's sure he was lying for a good reason and it'll all work out and she believes in him. Finally, Agent 9 delivers her finishing blow with an I love you that Hank can't help but return in turn to, apologizing for his bad mood.
So, she's gonna be Russian, right?
I don't actually remember.
I feel like that's the obvious answer.
That's where it usually goes at this point in time, but who actually fucking knows? Hank quickly returns to his lab, hard at work on a cure for his condition and hopefully the end of his troubles, though he also has to find something to explain what was going on with his sudden appearance and what the fuck was going on with the other Beast anyway. Speak of the devil, Hank hears footsteps in the hallway. On the other side of the door stands outlined a hulking figure cast in shadow. Realizing what he saw, Hank immediately sets to work stripping off his disguise. He doesn't need this guy to go getting him into even more trouble for something he didn't even do this time. Leaping after him, Beast easily succeeds in catching up to and grabbing the other figure, who is revealed to be Quasimodo. I still don't know much about Quasimodo, that hasn't changed.
I think he's an Iron Man villain. Is he?
I don't think so, because he gives a little bit of an explanation here, and he's talking about the Mad Thinker, who's usually a Fantastic Four guy.
Right. I might be remembering that wrong. He might have appeared in an Iron Man comic.
Yeah, I could be wrong too.
Yeah,
Who fucking knows? Yeah, so apparently he is very happy to have found the Beast, as he was trying to draw him out. This page, this all gives me a lot more information about Quasimodo than I had at any point in time.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently the Mad Thinker created him, so I think he's an android, and he wanted to be human, so the Silver Surfer got him a body, but he doesn't want to just be a body, he wants to be a dude. Apparently, he's been getting reports from both Agent 9 and Mastermind, which I don't remember them being in league before. This is a new revelation. If they were, why was Linda riled up about where Hank was when he was with Mastermind? Did she not know?
And why was Mastermind just having him steal diamonds?
Right, what does this have anything to do with anything? Does Linda not know that Quasi and Mastermind are also working together? What does this have to do with Linda being a foreign agent? Who fucking knows? What Quasimodo does share is that after hearing about the Beast's magnificent healing factor and metabolism, he figured that this may be a pathway to humanity, so he's decided he just has to steal the Beast's life form with a vampire gun, which I'm not sure.
A what now? What does that do?
It sucks his life force. I just chose to call it a vampire gun.
No, it
He calls it a vampire machine, so I'm not far off.
Okay.
He wants to vampire gun him. And I don't know, man. It doesn't make any sense to me as why that would make him able to be human.
He wants to morb the fuck out of him.
Oh, fuck off.
It's Morbin Time, baby.
Mighty Morbin Power Rangers. But I don't know what's up with Quasimodo's technology. Maybe this will work. I don't fucking know. We'll let it pass. It's comic books. But Hank is pretty attached to his life force, unfortunately, so he doesn't really want to go along with this. Quasimodo is outraged and baffled that the Beast isn't going along with his plan. And so
how dare you not let me kill you and suck out your soul?
I fucking know, right?
You motherfucker.
The fucking nerve. He doesn't get why he's not going along with it, because he's only a beast, when Quasimodo here is awesome with his big computer brain and his big strong bod. Like, dude, it seems like you're pretty cool with yourself. Why do you need the beast's life force to become human? Learn to love yourself the way you are, Quasimodo. It's the only way to make it in this world. Hank points out that Quasimodo's logicking out that Hank should surrender just makes it clear that he can't be human. Where's the emotion, the self-preservation? Quasimodo takes a long moment to think this over, and he takes the Beast's words to... Nah, he doesn't do that.
No.
He instead immediately tackles Hank out of a window.
That's not a window. That's a straight-up wall.
You're right. What the fuck was I thinking? That is actually
Just
entirely a wall.
Through the entire wall.
Oh, yeah! The two fall towards the ground before Hank is able to twist away, landing on the steel framework of a construction site that I swear has not been here this entire time, and also I think the lab building is a lot taller than I remember it being. Anyway, Quasimodo doesn't make the landing atop the same beam. Beast momentarily troubles over the tumbling Quasimodo, but it seems that this was all for nothing, as Quasi just landed on the next beam down.
It's really funny. No! Oh, he's fine.
Quasi starts firing I-beams at Hank, resuming the fight. And Hank reasons out that the best thing to do, since Quasimodo is all logic, is to reach into his emotion and let loose. I don't know how that makes sense, but okay. Quasimodo then helpfully explains that his name is short for Quasi-Motivational Destruct Organ. I don't know where the organ comes from. I feel like this was just a stretch to make his name Quasimodo.
Quasi-motivational. So he goes around to like offices and gives motivational speeches.
Not very good ones.
Not very good ones.
Yeah, but okay, quasi-motivational destruct organ gets a hold of a rivet gun and starts firing rivets at the beast.
Excellent.
Who by this point is quite confident in his invincibility, like, bitch, you can't hurt me, right before getting shot and actually injured by a rivet.
Oh no.
Words said moments before disaster. To his distress, Beast realizes that his healing powers seem to have abandoned him, even as Quasi takes advantage of the distraction to leap at the beast.
How?
You'll jump.
Well, yeah, but how did his healing powers just stop working?
Great question.
It's just this one spot on his arm is like the Achilles heel. This is the one spot where you can shoot him at.
Just don't, get a tattoo right there, then the bad guys will know where to aim.
Yeah.
Aim for the special spot for extra damage. He seizes upon his quarry, beginning to suck McCoy's life force from him. Hank feels himself beginning to weaken, but he struggles on, expressing his determination. Something in this gets through to Quasimodo, over which he realizes that the beast is indeed not healing. Realizing that the effort was useless, Quasimodo abandons the beast, precariously perched atop the girders of the building's skeleton. So too does he abandon his quest for humanity. He rages that despite it all, Beast is still human. Nothing Quasimodo could ever do would make himself feel that it was all a fool's dream. In despair, Quasimodo casts himself down from the top of the construction site, down to his death on the pavement below. The Beast wonders if maybe Quasimodo wasn't closer to humanity than he knew, with his expression of emotion at the end. McCoy does puzzle over something we ourselves were asking just earlier, though. What the fuck is the deal with Agent 9 having something to do with Mastermind, because Quasimodo said that aloud?
Yeah.
And on that note, we close the issue. Hopefully we'll get an answer in Amazing Adventures 15 from August of 1972, written by Steve Englehart, pencils by Tom Sutton, inks by John Tartaglione and Frank Giacola, and lettered by Gene Izzo.
This is a funny little fellow.
Yeah, this is his first appearance. That's the Griffin.
I see that.
Yeah, I guess it does say it right there.
Is that Warren?
Yeah.
Oh.
Actually, it'd be hard for me to be like spoilers when he literally is talking about the angel.
Yeah.
On the front page.
Oh yeah, true. Hank is looking very blue on this cover.
Yeah, he's looking quite blue on the cover here. Less blue here on this page.
Yeah.
Yep. Patsy Baxter hears a knock at her door. When she opens the door, a hulking, shaggy figure topples through the door and atop her. Once Patsy manages to pull herself back together, she takes stock of the situation, recognizing the beast from her encounter the night before. But now he lays motionless and bleeding on her living room floor. She considers calling Buzz, even though she knows full well that he's just going to dismiss her as a woman again. But she worries that any time spent on the phone with Buzz is time the beast is potentially bleeding out before her eyes. She drags the beast to lay atop a couch so she can tend to him, which, props for the strength, girl. That's hard to do. And the beast lays still, dreaming in a delirious haze of how he got here. His past as an X-Man, his transformation into his current form, his battle with Iron Man, the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, and now Quasimodo, and the plot against him. He dreams of his girl Linda and the happiness they might know.
This face, Patsy, is not good.
No, it's not a good face.
Yikes.
Then again, maybe you might make such a face if a strange beast just tumbled through your door and on top of you and proceeded to bleed all over your floor.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't say that would really make my day. Yeah, he's dreaming of Linda, but slowly her face fades into one he doesn't quite know, which is, like we were saying earlier, Patsy, wiping at his fevered brow.
Why did he go to her place?
Great
He doesn't
question.
even fucking know her.
I feel like he's just delirious and tried to stumble in somewhere. It didn't seem to be going well, but I have no idea, frankly. Well, when Beast comes to, he also comes to a shocking realization that his fur has changed from gray to black.
Oh.
On the panel, it becomes blue, and then eventually we forget that it has ever been black and it's just blue, which I prefer. There should be more funky little blue guys running around. We'll get more, but it's going to be a little bit. Hank is quite alarmed by everything and makes to flee, but when Patsy calls to him by name, Hank McCoy is stopped in his tracks. The situation, it seems, has gotten much more complicated. It would appear that Hank is a sleep talker, and he had quite a bit to say in his feverish haze.
Oh boy.
So that whole backtrack of his life, assumedly he was also narrating this to Patsy.
That's really funny.
That's really funny.
I also like her
nightgown.
Her sexy, half-transparent nightie.
Why would you wear heels with a nightgown, though? I mean, like, her guy's not even here. There's no one to impress.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you just want to look a little bit sexy for Patsy. Maybe it's just... That's just for me.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say anything mean. Anyway.
Okay. Back up in Westchester County, we find one of the X-Men in a particularly bad mood over breakfast. Ever since Hank left the mansion, there have been all these tales in the newspaper of a beast roaming around the exact place Hank works, but no one will tell Warren what the devil is going on. Xavier makes clear that he fully intends to stay out of the matter like Hank requested, but Warren won't stand for his friend out there alone, without anyone to stand by him through whatever the trouble is, and he soars off shirtlessly into the sky.
Didn't even bother to change, he just threw off his shirt and fucking flew away.
It was more of a tits out look. I hate the way this is drawn. It looks like he has two sets of wings rather than flapping wings, which is most definitely what Tom was going for here, but it doesn't work.
No, it doesn't.
I think maybe if the inker hadn't gotten so detailed on the feathers and stuff, it might have helped. But no, didn't happen. Later in the day, Beast and Patsy have wrapped up their talk. He worries that he might have inadvertently gotten Patsy involved in something that might be too much for her to handle with the growing conspiracy around him. He leaps through the city, troubled by the entire situation, when suddenly, from out of nowhere, a set of claws seize around his wrist in midair. We find that it is that bitch from the cover, the Griffin.
It's really intense looking.
He's very bright in this rather dark book.
Well, it's just like...
His mane is so much.
Giant, fluffy mane, and the claws, and his face.
I've seen him in Spider-Man books before, and he fits in a Spider-Man book, because that's how Spider-Man's villains fucking are.
Yeah, they're all furries.
Yeah, really, pretty much. Furries, mad scientists, or elements of nature brought to life.
Cool.
That's the thing.
Guy is just a lot.
Yeah. Well, he is here, and he has been sent by mysterious unnamed masters to polish off the beast. The beast and the Griffin grapple in midair, and the Griffin says that he's not a racist. He'll kill Beast even if he has changed colors. He'll kill anyone.
Wow.
Anti-racist Griffin is coming off really strong here.
I'm not racist. I hate everybody.
And he follows up by explaining that he was unhappily changed into this by his masters, and he doesn't have a name. I'm gonna get back to this, but this is much funnier this time around reading it for me.
Why is he wearing cleats?
That feels like the biggest question to ask here of all of his costume elements. Maybe he came straight from a game, I don't know.
I think it's a valid question!
All the better to kick you with. Maybe he was walking on a fucking glacier, man, I don't know. Beast finally manages to twist so he can land back atop a nearby rooftop, but the Griffin isn't all out of the fight. He jumps up on Hank's back again fast, but Hank manages to flip his attacker out in front of him to get a look at him. His face doesn't come off, so I guess his story checks out. Cool. Finally, Warren arrives, fresh from Westchester, still bare-chested in his slacks and shoes. He puzzles over who is the bad guy in this fight. If only Obi-Wan were here. Wait, Hank. If only Hank were here to help my dumb little blonde brain figure out who to back in this fight. Beast, meanwhile, has also noted Warren flying here. No thoughts. Head empty. Be great if he could help out. Well, with or without Angel's help, the Beast gets in a pretty hefty blow that leaves the Griffin tumbling towards the ground. No matter who the bad guy is, Warren isn't just going to let him become street pizza, so he swoops down to catch him. The Griffin expresses his gratitude by giving Warren a one-hit knockout, who now himself needs rescue. Beast quickly does just that, leaping down to Warren's rescue and managing to catch him and bring him down safely to ground. The Griffin doesn't want to do a 2-on-1, and so he heads off as Warren begins to groggily come back to consciousness. He's momentarily confused by the big shaggy blue guy looming over him, only to be pretty pleased to discover that it's his friend after all. Hank scoops Warren up and then carries him off to his apartment, wanting to be sure that Warren really is okay. On the trip, Warren notes that Hank is talking differently these days, much less verbose, which is actually something Hank noted in the last episode, but didn't seem worth noting at the time, really.
Okay.
I guess at the time it was more he felt that he didn't have to compensate as much for whatever reason, and he feels more free and confident. Good for him. If that's what makes him happy, good.
Good.
Once they're safely out of view in Hank's apartment, he explains everything he's had to do to keep the truth about himself under wraps, including all the braces he uses to stand straight. And Warren's like, yeah, I feel you, man, binders suck. And Hank's like, oh yeah, right, my bad.
Yeah.
He then realizes, shit, I actually have somewhere to be, but since you made the trip, would you like to come along to talk to the fucking army guy who's mad at me? And Warren's good with that, just happy to be able to help and chill with his friend. That's something I really love about Warren, his inability to stand by and watch a friend in trouble. He's just got such a good heart. He's stupid, dumb of ass, good of heart.
Himbo.
I feel like he needs more beef to be a
I
himbo.
know.
That's the only problem.
I know.
So the two of them grab a cab. Even as across the street, a woman gets out of another one.
Oh my god, this lady.
The driver distracts her just long enough fussing over the wrong change for Hank to drive away in his own cab. Another missed encounter. Back across town, Agent 9 is having an evil henchman Zoom meeting with her masters.
Oh my god.
And she wants to talk to the manager about just who sent Quasimodo here after all. The heat is too high on her here already, and what the fuck is going on with Mastermind? So she does know about Mastermind. Well, Mastermind's actions were sanctioned by the Masters, but Quasimodo came here on his own recognizance.
Eyes too far apart.
Indeed. She's got a big case of Tana-Nile syndrome going on.
Yeah, for sure.
But then the Masters turned things around on 9 pretty quickly, asking why she didn't back McCoy up on his cover story, to which she answered she thought that it would make her cover better. Number 1, the guy she's been talking to, reminds her of the penalty of fucking shit up in the Secret Empire. Yeah, so it's those guys.
Oh.
Linda's meeting becomes even more frustrating as the Griffin alights onto the balcony in broad daylight at her room, which she too is fast to point out as she snaps at the Griffin. The Griffin doesn't care and also tells Linda his backstory, working his way up from New Orleans muscle to his recruitment to the Secret Empire and subsequent transformation.
Wait, so what is the Secret Empire?
I don't remember. Cap fights them. I think they also do Nazi shit. I'm not 100% sure anymore.
What?
There's so many of these fucking organizations, I mix them up.
I only recognize that from the Nazi Cap event.
Yeah. They're a group of people who are bad bombing.
Okay.
Fucking episode 1 jumping out at you already again.
Mm.
So it seems the Griffin is not a happy customer, though, with his permanent body modifications, and now he too wants to talk to the manager. Donaldson finally snaps and walks away entirely from the meeting, despite number 1 demanding that she gets back here right now. I love this thing with the Griffin, though, where he just leads like, "Let me tell you my backstory, I'm mad!" Because he did it with Beast, too!
Yeah.
Like, I'm here to kill you. I'm the Griffin, and things are not going great for me.
Oh my god.
Linda does actually have shit to do, though, monitoring Hank's interrogation by Captain Baxter. Hank shows up with Warren in tow, and luckily now has an alibi to run with. Beast explains that he lied because his dear friend Warren came down from school to visit, and so he played hooky at work. Buzz isn't buying it because he's still suspicious that Hank didn't explain what he just explained the first time he asked. Warren has an answer to that, too, claiming that he'd been arguing with Warren about a girl, and he didn't want to say that in front of Linda. which little does he know, but to which Buzz is like, you're so not in that guy's league, are you fucking kidding me? Fucking savage.
Oh my god.
Patsy, though, steps in to defend him, explaining that the other night she'd seen them arguing at a restaurant when out for dinner. This takes a lot of the wind out of Buzz's sails. He still doesn't want to believe that, but he's not going to call his wife a liar, so... Why is Patsy even here, though, is my question? Like, is this regular practice? The military liaison brings his wife to interrogations?
Yeah, good question.
Did she just get in here because she was here for the whole thing where the beast showed back up? I don't fucking know.
She's a female, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Again, yeah, it ultimately doesn't matter, as Baxter is forced to let the pair go. They quickly leave work once more, just to get away from the stress, when suddenly a winged shadow descends upon the beast, and it's not his friend either, it's the Griffin, taking another crack at him. The Griffin prepares for the killing blow, but the beast isn't alone this time, and Warren swoops in to deck Griff to get him off his friend's back.
The Griffin should have toe beans.
You know, I
on
agree.
His little pawsies.
He should. I heartily agree.
Just fucking, I mean, if you're gonna do a fursuit, just go the whole distance, you know? Don't half-ass it.
Okay, but like having an actual fursuit on your face, I feel like would be it would get in the way if you're being a supervillain assassin. I can see why there were compromises to be made here.
I guess. But, you know, toe beans are good because it gives you some grip.
Agreed. No, I'm fully on board with the toe beans.
Okay.
The winged combatants duke it out in the skies, but the beast isn't completely out of the fight just yet. He flips himself back around to strike at the Griffin, using his acrobatic abilities to bounce himself right on back to the fight from rooftop to rooftop. As the fight drags on, the still recovering beast is beginning to struggle. The Griffin finally gets his grip around him, but instead soon finds that he is the one ensnared.
I like his heavyweight champion belt.
Well, you know, you gotta make the point that you are a big deal, and you were a big enough deal to win the wrestle belt.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's the boxing belt. My bad. It's not the Wrestleman belt.
Oh.
Or is it?
Is it what?
I don't know. Who wears the belts? Is it the Wrestlemen or the boxer guys?
Wrestling.
All right. Right, it's the wrestles.
Yeah.
Okay.
It just seems like a weirdly incongruous part of his outfit. That's all.
Oh, I don't know. I feel like it ties in with his cleats. Maybe he wants to make clear that he is also a big sports fan.
Maybe. Oh my god. Okay. It took me a second to figure out what was going on with Warren on, like, half on and off this panel. I thought these were boobs for a second.
It is more of a tits out look.
I mean, one of them is a boob, but
yeah.
I thought it was like one of those like centaur ladies with the head back here and the boobs way out.
Oh god. Wretched.
Nope, it's just Warren.
It's just Warren. Well, the Griffin finally gets his grip around the beast, but instead soon finds that he's the one ensnared when the beast turns around and locks his arms around the Griffin, pinning his wings back behind his body. The two fall groundward, and midway along, Angel gets in a punch to knock the Griffin straight to La La Land, allowing the beast to let go and land gently back on his feet. With the Griffin taken care of, the two make their escape before the soldiers decide to open fire. Warren then agrees to explain what's going on to the rest of the X-Men so they aren't worried, which Hank probably should have done himself quite a while ago. Mm-hmm. With that done, Hank, who has spent remarkably little time at work, decides that he couldn't possibly go back to work, and so decides to return the makeup books he borrowed to the library. Always a sucker for a library, he wanders the stacks, settling momentarily on a reread of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde in light of his current circumstances. But it seems that Hank has been spotted. Our mystery woman has finally managed a rendezvous with Hank McCoy.
Oh my god, finally.
Hank recognizes her, though we don't get to see her face right now.
I mean, it's obvious.
Who is it? Who could it be?
I don't remember her name, but she's the librarian that Hank
Vera!
was dating. Yeah, that one. I could only
Vera.
remember Zelda.
Yeah,
and that
Zelda's
was Bobby's
got a
girl.
very unique name.
Yeah. I mean, Vera's pretty unique, too.
Yeah. But we're not going to get to see what's up with Vera, who it is, I believe, in fact, Vera, because we're just going to get to that later. Oh. We are instead moving along to Incredible Hulk 150 from January of 1972. Written by Archie Goodwin, who is a new name for us. He had a pretty prolific career, and he was well loved by his peers, and he served as an editor-in-chief here at Marvel for a time in the mid-70s. But the fun Archie Goodwin fact I found is that in his first published work in a mystery magazine, they tried to tell him that he couldn't use the pen name Archie Goodwin, since the name was already in use for a fictional character. But after hearing that no, that actually really is his name, they were so delighted that they put the anecdote in as a prologue to Goodwin's story.
Amazing.
I think that's adorable. We also have Herb Trimpe on pencils, and another new name, John Severin on inks. He's another member of a comics family that we have encountered before, the older brother to Marie Severin, whose work we saw on that Horny on Main Eric the Red cover, with the lovingly outlined thigh muscles. John had a pretty prolific career, including a 45-year stint on Cracked when it was an actual magazine instead of online. Rounding us out, we have Sam Rosen on letters. This is the first of several Hulk stories that we're going to touch on during the X-Men hiatus. Now, I don't necessarily know what all of the fuck they're talking about on the first page. I can't give it full context because I haven't read enough Incredible Hulk to give that. But it would seem that last time around, the Hulk was battling something called the Inheritor here in the Project Greenskin facility.
Wow, that's subtle.
Yeah. General Ross tries to get his men to find the Hulk, who very much doesn't want to be found. One of the soldiers questions Ross's presence down here, along with Major Talbot, concerned about the safety of their commanding officers, should the Hulk or the Inheritor still be alive after all.
Who's the Inheritor?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I know about some Inheritors, but those are like Spider-Man guys, and that's, I'm assuming, entirely not to do with this. You may remember Major Talbot from our last encounter with the Hulk. Well, Ross will have none of this, barking, "Son, I didn't get these stars by being somewhere else when the spit hits the fan." Hulk, increasingly frustrated, hears the General talking about some other Hulk was fighting. "Other? Hulk is strongest there is!" He lashes out at the soldiers, tossing several of them aside. Another group of soldiers begins throwing canisters of sleeping gas at the Hulk. "You trap Hulk? You cage him like puppy? Oh, smash for mother! Smash for 1,000 years!"
Wow. Oh my god.
Even in his confusion, the Hulk manages to slip a mask onto his face to prevent himself from falling asleep.
Where did he get a mask?
Off of one of the soldiers he knocked down.
Okay.
He's still more than capable of smashing his way through the soldiers. For a moment, he considers smashing General Ross, but the mask doesn't seal too good to his big honkin' face, and he decides to get while the getting's good. Hulk then thooms off into the sky, even as General Ross swears that the Hulk hasn't heard the last of him. Finally free of all the noise and chaos and attacks, the Hulk settles down on a mesa and thinks about a green-haired alien girl he loved named Urella. If she existed, which he's not really sure of. I have no context to fill in on this one, other than it's weird that this has happened to him multiple times, if it did. Fuck if I know. His peaceful reverie only lasts as long as the night. As with the dawning of the sun, so too do army helicopters dawn over the horizon, closing in around the Hulk. Since gas worked so well last time in an enclosed space, the helicopters decide to try it again here in the wide open air.
Great idea.
They fire massive gas canisters onto the Hulk's once peaceful mesa, only to be defeated by the dastardly wind, dispersing the gas harmlessly into the breeze. Well, Hulk has had it with being hounded. He knocks one helicopter entirely out of the air. Another opens fire with rocket darts at the Hulk, but is able to dodge behind some nearby rocks to avoid them. General Ross, I think from one of the helicopters, orders the self-propelled cannons to open fire.
Do I know?
That's just a tank, right? A self-propelled cannon, because that sounds like a tank.
Yeah, and it looks like a tank, too.
It does. Maybe it's a tank with autopilot? I don't fucking know. Well, the self-propelled rocket cannons, or whatever the fuck they are, do indeed open fire on the rocks. It seems that the Hulkbuster outfit have finally got the Hulk on the ropes, and it makes it all the more painful to Ross when the order comes through that all Hulkbuster activities are to be suspended pending congressional hearing.
Ha 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 ha!
And so, even though it hurts, General Ross turns his men back away. The Hulk watches them head back, confused as to why they just left without a fight. Well, back in Washington, we see a fight of a different manner. The hearing, it seems, is already in motion. One Senator Morton Cleggstead testifies that his committee did indeed approve funds for the Project Greenskin project, which he argues is justified as the Hulk poses a menace to the American people who need protection. It seems that this is at least in part a meeting to do with funds, as the first time they caught him, not only did it not work, but it led to the destruction of a multi-million-dollar base, money that could have gone to social projects. Preach, Congressman Dutton, I'm feeling it.
Yeah.
Back in the desert, one of the army vehicles didn't leave with the rest. We find Major Glenn Talbot along with Betty Ross, daughter of the same General Ross we met up with just a couple minutes back. I'm not 100% sure what these people's relationship are. Are they friends? Are they a couple? I don't Hulk much. I don't know. They scope out the situation, and Betty wonders if they can't get maybe just a little bit closer in case the Hulk reverts to Dr. Banner so she can help him. But Talbot won't put her at risk like that. Their distant view becomes even further as all of a sudden the Hulk leaps into the action, fooming from one rock formation to the next, clearly drawn by something. And indeed he has been. Through the desert below drives a green-haired woman in a convertible. Perhaps his lost love, Urella? But that's not all, as a biker gang seems to be closing in around the car. Hulk jumps down to her defense, leaping atop several of the bikers and knocking several others off the bikes by force. But that's not all of them. Some of them are still riding right along Ms. Greenhair. When Hulk catches up, he finds the car, but not the woman. But though the bikers there too lie scattered around the car. One of them is still conscious, and the Hulk quickly hauls him up to demand information on what happened. He relays that the girl just waved her hands and sent them all flying. Hulk decides that he doesn't care about what this dude has to say, and instead just starts searching for the girl again. Meanwhile, here she is. The girl is closing in on her destination, a little hut here in the desert. She's wiped out from her recent exertions, and barely able to summon up even a little spark of magnetic ability. She's well ready to rest, but then from behind she hears a noise closing in on her. She's tapped out as the one remaining member of the gang, by the name of Viper, closes in on her with his bike, determined to make her pay for that move with his buddies. He's closing in when all of a sudden both he and his bike are sent skidding off across the barren ground. She's been rescued by Alex Summers, who apparently has decided that he's going to live out in the desert, assumedly waiting until he can take, I don't know, someone's son off to become a Jedi. Who fucking knows what the plan is.
You just got Star Wars on the brain.
I do! You know I do.
I know you
led
do.
with the fact that I have Star Wars on the brain.
I know.
The biker completely forgotten, the two get to talking. It seems Lorna didn't give any notice that she was heading out this way, because she somehow got it in her idea that Alex wouldn't want to see her, because rather than just coming to catch up, she's also come to pass on Professor Xavier's wishes that Alex return to the X-Men.
Of course.
Alex isn't receptive to the idea. He doesn't want to be a superhero, but mostly it's that he fears losing control again. It seems that in another occasion of the simmering love triangle rising to a boil, that Alex lost his temper and damn near killed Bobby.
Great.
And from then, he's hung up his stupid headdress for good, swearsies. Lorna then points out that Bobby wasn't really hurt that badly, and if he's worried about hurting people, he should come back and work with Professor X to control his powers.
Good point.
Lorna finally just heads off towards her car, through with trying to convince this lunkhead. Alex, though, can't just watch the girl he cares about run off, and he dashes after her. In that unfortunate moment, the Hulk rises into view, just seeing another man chasing the green-haired girl.
Oh boy.
Alex decides that first he has to go in and change into his superhero costume.
The best time to do that.
He wants it because it helps him measure his power output so he doesn't get carried away.
He's looking really weird and lumpy today.
He's looking very lumpy. He's a lumpy boy. I don't know what he's been up to out here in the desert. The Hulk has finally saved his beloved green-haired girl, and so he carries her up the side of a bluff, King Kong style, only realizing then that she wasn't actually his Jarella once he made it to the top.
Oh, God.
Of course, he's decided that this was a deliberate ruse, an idea only reinforced when he sees a jeep come driving back into view. The soldiers!
Oh, no.
Well, kind of. It's Betty and Major Talbot headed back to the base. Hulk, though, is angry with Lorna. He grabs her in his hands. He's big enough to his hands just wrap around her entire fucking body.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he grabs her, he picks her up, and he's angrily going on about how no one fools the Hulk. But he's distracted by an explosion of rock shards from the ledge of the bluff. Lorna and Hulk peer down, only to see Havok, calling the Hulk on out to come fight him and let this girl be.
God.
Fight me, bro! Well, Hulk is strongest there is at fighting, and he's going to crush little man in his stupid black suit and his big dumb hat.
Exactly.
And he jumps at him. But Alex breaks the momentum of the fall with a blast, so the Hulk can't knock him right off his feet from the moment. I think it's a pretty good move, honestly. But, it gets the job, but Mr. Big Baby about how dangerous he is gonna learn a couple things.
Uh-huh.
As the Hulk was barely shaken, and nearly immediately knocks Alex off his feet with a ground pound anyway.
Yep.
Then he grabs him. Alex manages to get his way loose, and tries to talk Big Green down. It doesn't work.
Oh.
And the Hulk rips the entire side of the cliff off.
No, it definitely didn't work.
No, he picked up the entire side of this fucking cliff.
Oh my God.
Lorna atop it and everything. And he's about to beat Alex Summers with a fucking mountain.
About to learn you some things today.
Uh-huh. Havok realizes with dawning horror that he has to find some way to keep the Hulk from destroying the bluff, or hitting him with the bluff, or letting anything happen to Lorna. It's now or never, and there is no room for failure. He blasts out at the Hulk with the narrowest, most concentrated beam he can manage. The Hulk is stunned by the pain, concentrated right dead center in the middle of his forehead. Alex pleads for the Hulk to set the rock down, and if he do that, he'll stop hurting Hulk. The Hulk finally gives in and does as he's asked, setting the cliff back right. Under the strain, the Hulk collapses and begins to revert back to Dr. Banner. Alex then somehow uses his powers to safely lower Lorna to the ground. This shit again. How about we just say Lorna feels well enough to lower herself?
Right.
Because, that's something she can do. We're back on this shit where if I just blast very carefully, it's just slow. No, it doesn't make any fucking sense.
It doesn't work that way.
Or another thing he could have done, he could have climbed up there and had her grab on his back while he slowed them down with the inertia of his own shit. That I also get. This I don't agree with. Yeah. This is stupid. But yeah. So whatever. Alex finally agrees that he's going to go back to Westchester with Lorna and see if he can't take another crack at his training.
Probably because he's tired of living in the middle of the desert with no one else around.
Right.
And, no electricity and running water and food.
Turns out this sucks. Yeah, I'll go back to the cool mansion with an obstacle course that I can run. That's a plus to me, I don't know. But as they walk away, another pair soon walks up. Betty Ross and Major Talbot, having followed the noises of the struggle here. Betty cradles the weakened, barely conscious Bruce Banner in her arms, but when she does, he utters, "Urella, my love?" Betty is shocked to tears, asking Glenn what that means and who is Urella. Glenn can't, or most likely won't, tell her, insisting that they have to wait for Bruce to explain.
Yeah.
And on that, we close.
Yeah, I'm not getting involved in that one, honey.
Because he does make clear at some point that he knows about Urella and some thought bubbles, but...
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I also don't know if she's Urella or Jarella. I just went with Urella because it sounded better.
It does sound better.
So, what did we think about the Beast's most recent adventures?
It was slightly better. It wasn't in second person. No, actually, some of it was in second person. I don't know if you noticed that.
I'm trying to remember if I did. Yeah.
Yeah, the part where he was...
flashback. But I guess that makes... No, it doesn't make sense. Because if I was saying something about what my life was, I would not be saying it in second person.
No, absolutely not. 3 out of 5 for that.
That's about where I stand. I'm very tempted to give another half star for Patsy, who I actually really like in this.
I know. You love Patsy.
I just like, she's sitting here acknowledging, like, yeah, my husband's just gonna say that I'm just a woman.
Then why are you married to him?
Maybe she didn't know how that relationship was gonna go before they got hitched, you know? That shit does happen.
I guess.
Whatever. I'm gonna go with 3.5 for the Bounding Beast. What did we think about the Hulk and his quest for the green-haired lady?
It was a comic.
Yeah.
Also a 3 out of 5.
I'm gonna stick with the 3.5 out of 5. I don't know, I thought it was kind of endearing.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like a smart story, it was just kind of fun.
I don't know. None of it really struck me as particularly memorable or anything, so...
I think that's fair.
It was fine. It was fine.
Yep. Well, we're gonna be back with the Hulk fairly regularly.
Yeah,
so
we sure are.
Maybe we'll get a little caught up. Honestly, I looked at the schedule and we have a Hulk episode like every 11 issues of the Hulk. One of the X-Men is there for a bit.
My God.
That's what we got.
Yep.
Housekeeping. If you know any of the various questions I fucking asked through this podcast, because I know nothing about the military or, I don't know, gem thieves. That was last time, but I don't fucking know. Shit like that. If you know anything, email us at Comicsplaining.
If you know anything about anything, please tell us, because we don't know shit.
Yeah, right. Send us something you're really passionate about. Fuck it. I'm good. We have no listener content. I will fucking read whatever you send me within reason.
Yeah. As long as it's not like the entire script of B-Movie.
Right. You can also get in touch with us on Twitter, Tumblr, Facebook. We are Comicsplaining in all of those locations. If you'd like to watch a video version of the show, check us out over on YouTube. Like, subscribe, and hit that bell button. That'd help us out quite a bit. If you'd like to help the show in other ways, we have a Patreon. All patrons get access to the show a day early, but higher tiers mean higher rewards. We also have a coffee if you'd like to donate. Rate and review us 5 stars over on your podcatcher of choice. If you're on Spotify, they now have ratings over there too, so 5 stars, huh? Recommend us to your friends, please.
Please.
Please, God.
Please, God.
Other than that, if you want to hop on our Discord, we leave a link to that in every show. And other than that, we're going to be back with you next week with Thor, and we look forward to talking to you then. Bye!
Bye!